Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here actually back on RFactor 2. Yes, it's been a little bit of a while since we were last on RFactor, but as I'm sure many of you are aware, RFactor has recently released the Ferrari GTE car. Now, it's not letting me get into the car. I guess we'll have to look at it from here. Hello, RFactor, are you... There we go. It takes it a minute, but yeah, we're going to be doing a little bit of a test run then today of the new Ferrari GTE car. Obviously, I'm sure most of you were probably expecting this to be at Le Mans, and we're basic, so we're doing it at Le Mans. But yeah, very much looking forward to jumping into this car here today. I've done sort of half a lap, make sure everything was working as it should be, and straight off the bat, you know, there's probably going to be a lot of comparisons between this and iRacing's version of the 488 GTE car as well. But yeah, very excited that obviously we're now starting to see some Ferraris coming to RFactor 2. Over the next couple of weeks though, we're probably going to see quite a few comparisons or sort of new DLC content on the channel. Obviously we've got this and then the Radical as well that RFactor has released today. And then we've got a load of iRacing content as well coming out over the course of the next couple of weeks, so we're probably going to be jumping in and reviewing most of that as well. So, you know, if that is something that interests you guys, make sure you do get yourself subscribed as well for more sim racing content coming to the channel over the coming weeks. But yeah, heading to Le Mans though, my first ever drive around this circuit as well on RFactor. Obviously, did a fair share of laps around Le Mans. Obviously, back in 2018, I managed to win in the 2018 B split over on Forza Motorsport in the TORA League, so that was yeah, one of my, honestly, was still one of my sim racing highs. You know, sort of one of the best things that I've still been able to achieve in sim racing. But you know, if we can do that on iRacing or RFactor one day as well, I'm sure I'd be very happy with that. But obviously, this content as well lines up quite nicely with the virtual Le Mans 24 that is going to be happening very soon as well. That event looks like it's going to be absolutely mad. I just pray that our RFactor driver stops work as they're meant to, because I feel like that could be a very big downfall for that race. But anyway, going into this car though, obviously this is the 2018 Ferrari 488 GTE car. Obviously no ABS, but you've still got the traction control. I'm sure everyone is already well aware of GTE cars, everything like that. It joins quite a good little list actually as we get a bit loose in towards the second chicane on the Mulsanne. Obviously joins the RSR Porsche, the BMW, the Aston Martin, and I think one more that I might be forgetting that are all official RFactor 2 content as well. Obviously we've done a couple of videos in a couple of those cars before, but not all of them in all honesty, so we might have to do a bit of a comparison between all of them at some point as well as we reach the end of the Mulsanne. Oh, struggled a bit there just to get it stopped on the anchors, but we're keeping it just about between the white lines at the moment. But yeah, Le Mans obviously on this is laser scanned as well, as I think is very quickly becoming the norm with most sim racing titles nowadays. Pretty much all DLC content on the big sims is laser scanned now. Obviously we had ACC, you know, more laser scan stuff. RFactor, pretty much everything nowadays is laser scanned as well, official content, and obviously iRacing has done it for years, which is sort of why the others have had to follow as we head in through Indianapolis. Now the problem is, I have obviously been practicing for the 2020 Le Mans 24 over on Forza. Unfortunately, I'm doing that in the Audi R18 LMP1 car. That can break a little bit later than a GTE car around this circuit, I'll be honest. So yeah, if we miss a couple of braking points, that's my racing driver excuse coming in straight away. But I'll let you guys listen to it as we head through the Porsche curves. Does sound obviously very good, the V8 strapped to the back of this thing. Making a bit of a mistake there. Lucky to get away with that one. Obviously a little bit more runoff areas nowadays at Le Mans than back in the good old days, I'm sure many people think. But we have navigated through there this time round, through the final chicane. Try and keep it all nice and tidy. Yeah, there we go. Let's head on to a flying lap then. Around Le Mans in the 488. Obviously, doesn't quite, you know, you got a couple of brilliant soundtracks in GTE racing. Obviously, probably most famously the Porsche. But this thing certainly holds its own. Down in towards turn 1. Big mistake. So that'll ruin this lap, unfortunately, but we'll keep going nonetheless. Obviously, we want to try and get one nice and tidy lap out of this thing at the end of the day. But obviously, this is the start of some more content from Ferrari coming to iRacing. Obviously, at the moment, the only things that are confirmed are this and then the GT3 variant of the 488 as well, which again, I'm very much looking forward to giving that a go. You know, loved that back during the iRacing Ferrari sprints that were a thing up until 2020, and then unfortunately they got rid of them just as I started to get into them and obviously swapped it with the BMW. So yeah, it's going to be good to be racing in some GT3 cars again in the very near future as well. But yeah, just struggling still just to get to grips with the ABS. Obviously RFactor got a very sophisticated tyre model, which does feel brilliant, but also where I don't league race on this game or do that much competitive racing anyway, sometimes struggle to go back to it as much as I'd like to. So it's definitely a learning curve every time I head back into RFactor. I probably ought to try and do a little bit more racing on him, but it's just finding a league and the time and everything like that. Maybe towards the end of the year I'll have to have a bit of a look into it as well. But yeah, down the Mulsanne once again, approaching 270 kph, about 165 miles an hour. Obviously this is on baseline setup as well. I know RFactor's setups aren't normally anything to write home about as well, so perhaps with a proper setup we might not struggle as much, but all the racing driver excuses coming out as you would probably expect as well. Heading down the the final bit of the Mulsanne, even I should say. Obviously into the big heavy braking zone. Hopefully this time around we can hit our markers just a little bit tidier than we managed to last time. Just going to brake just before you get into the kink. You feel like the car's absolutely fine until you get down towards sort of below 145, 150 kph. And then you start to feel those front wheels locking up. You're just not quite getting the rotation through them as you'd probably want. Obviously all the downforce has been taken off. Everything like that. So they don't quite work the same way you'd want them to, like they did to begin with. But yeah, down in towards Indianapolis, obviously ride the curbs as best as possible, give yourself the shortest run around this track. You spend so much of the time on full throttle. Obviously this is, that was close, almost completely stacked it there, but we got away with it. Always forget how you pop it back in neutral, in reverse. Right, come on, that was pretty close, almost completely wrecked it. Sure Ferrari wouldn't be too happy with us doing that, but a nice friendly reminder of just how brutal GTE racing can still be at the end of the day, just when you get a little bit overconfident on the brakes, because they will very much come back and they will always win. They do not give you a chance in these cars, and that I think is what makes for a lot of people GTE a little bit more exciting than GT3, especially to drive. Just obviously because they feel that little less forgiving. I mean, obviously GT3 is meant to be sort of more for gentleman races, everything like that, but GTE is still meant to be a little bit more brutal. Down in towards the Porsche curbs. Once again, back end, obviously this thing just likes to get a little bit loose and lively. Obviously not too much weight over the middle and the rear end. So it does make it a little bit scary at the best of times. I think it's technically mid-engine, but it is still in the front of the car as we head through the final chicane. Take out one of the bollards there. Right, now let's try and go for a lap here at Le Mans. Try and keep it nice and tidy. We should be aiming below the 4-minute mark, in all honesty. That should be a fairly representative time around this circuit. Down in towards turn 1, try and get it straightened out for the big braking zone of turn 2. Snag the brakes ever so slightly again as we head under the Dunlop Bridge. Trying to keep it a little bit tidier. You seem to find that I can't quite maintain full throttle everywhere through like the sweepers, everything like that. Oh. Back end just likes to try and get a little bit away from you right towards the very end, which makes it rather frustrating. Makes it certainly interesting to try and deal with there. Through onto the back straight though, through Tetra Rouge. And now we're back on the Mulsanne once again. We're a 10th up on my previous lap though, so we are clearly finding a little bit of time here and there as well. Things you love to see. And yeah, now you sort of get a bit, you get a chance to relax. You get a chance to focus, think about things as you just watch that speedo climb up. Was 280 kph as we head down into the first of the Mulsanne chicanes. Flip the curbs nicely, back down into second gear, ride the curbing. Obviously, that's what they always say at Le Mans. You eat the curbs as much as possible. If you've got a car that can ride the curbs, you're in for a good race at the end of the day. And then once again, you get to relax as you slowly mentally prepare yourself for the second of the Mulsanne chicanes. I can only imagine what it's like racing around here at night, just seeing headlights flying past you from the spaceship LMP1 cars all around as well. Braking just before the 150 metre board, back down into third, chuck it into second, ride the curbing once again, a little bit of a mistake on the entry, and then once again you cycle back up through the gears towards the end of the Mulsanne. Hopefully we're still up on my previous lap. Maybe we'll find a little bit more time as well. Obviously this time around you focus yourself on a bit of a bigger braking zone in the end, lower speeds, everything like that. From 270 kph down to about 90. Oh, struggled a bit with the understeer on the entry. Didn't quite get the tyres where I wanted them. And then obviously a nice 90-degree right-hander as you head now back out onto another flat-out section, which I think a lot of people forget about this part of the circuit. Obviously you've got the huge Mulsanne straight, but if I'm not mistaken, this bit's actually longer of a completely flat-out area now in, obviously, Le Mans 24. Back up over 270 kph again, pretty much matching the speed you get before the first of the Mulsanne chicanes. We're going to be a little bit... Oh, no! I was about to say we're going to be a little bit more cautious into there that time, but still, the back end tries to go around on me. This place, yeah, it's still, obviously, remember this is running on baseline as well, not even on reduced downforce. That every team will obviously have to run around this circuit. You know, if any downforce is just costing you time, always around this track. So yeah, it's that loose and lively, and we're still running standard downforce as well. But anyway, down in towards the Porsche curves. Hopefully just keep it nice and tidy. Back down into fourth gear. The back end's still just all over the shop. I feel there's a lot of time to find through here if we're just a little bit more brave, but obviously we don't want to completely wreck our brand new GTE car. Right, the curbs. Ooh, just it's all over the place. I'll be honest, definitely needs some setup tweaking to be a lot more drivable, but we'll go for one more then as we head it down in towards the Ford chicanes. One more lap then here at Le Mans, the beautiful Ferrari GTE car. That lap was a 4:07. Let's see if we can find any more time then. Let's really concentrate on this lap. Try and get it all hooked up. Back end still trying to get away from me. I think we're slowly obviously getting the tyres where we want them as well. Last time around I broke a little bit too early into there. Didn't carry the speed. Come on. Almost. Again. It's trying it. It really is. Got a good run though out onto the Mulsanne. We're about half second down on my previous lap though. It's not quite what we wanted, but we should be able to make up some time. Obviously through the chicanes as well. No, but definitely quite a big mistake into the second one. So we shall wait and see. Braking just before the 100 metre board, just in that little hole in the wall. There we go, good run on the exit. There we go, we found about a 10th there. Straight away, things you love to see. RFactor as well, by no way means is it a particularly attractive sim anymore, but Doesn't look too bad in 4K, I'll be honest. Still perfectly usable. Obviously, this is always the thing with racing sims. Graphics don't really mean all that much. Braking a little bit earlier than we did last time. I think we snagged a brake on the entry. Actually not finding any time through there that time round. Clearly didn't get as bad a run as I thought we did last time. In the end, we've actually thrown away a bit more time. This car can be a confusing one at times. Anyway, down towards the end of the Mulsanne. Get it slowed down nice and tidily. Finally click that apex. Try and get the power nice and early. Obviously your make-up time all the way down here, and you can see that gap is just coming down fraction by fraction. We just need to keep it clean in towards these next couple of corners. We're going for sub 4. If it's going to be possible or not, we'll wait and find out. But that's what I'm aiming for around here. That's normally a good benchmark in a GTE car. Drop down one gear. Get it all straightened up. Try not to run it wide. Oh, just dip a wheel in the gravel. So we're about 3 seconds up. So, oh, big lock up there. Ooh-ha. Come on, you. Go where we want you. This thing is lively. There is no denying that. We can't get a complete lap hooked up, unfortunately, by the looks of it. Just likes to dance around a little bit too much for us at the end of the day. We'll try and get a tidy run through here though. One final time. Gonna leave it in fifth, see if that works out a little bit better. No, it does not. This thing is wild. And there we go. We've definitely done a bit more damage to it there at the end. But, oh, come on. Get going again. There we go. That is a bit of a test drive then of the new Ferrari GTE car that has come to RFactor 2. A little bit wild, but would you want it any other way here on RFactor? I'll be honest. We'll bring it down into the pit lane though. But yeah, that has been a very, very wild experience. Made me have a lot more appreciation for the Ferrari GTE. I'm now going to definitely have to give it a drive in iRacing to see if it's this lively over there. But I'm sure with a new time model, it's probably quite an interesting experience on there as well. Pit lane speed limiters on. But there we go. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, do make sure you do get yourself subscribed as well for more RFactor 2 content coming to the channel in the near future. But yeah, we will be back very, very soon with our review of the new Radical. But yeah, that'll do us for this video, guys, and I will see you all in the next video.